Hi, it's Late Night Whispers on this gorgeous radio, and I'm Sunshine. And today I have,
Osiris Green.
and tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I'm pretty much an artist. I'm from the DMV area. I've been here my entire life. I've been doing music I've been doing music since I was like 13, 12 years old. I've been doing it full time, like as far as a business, as far as a career since I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what type of music, basically?
Honestly, man, I'm one of those kind of artists that likes doing a lot of like fusion and stuff. Like I like combining genre. But my foundation's in hip hop. Like I started out as a freestyle rapper. I was like the one in the cipher, always wanting to freestyle, always wanted to do those type of things. And eventually I started getting into other things. Like I'll do some alternative music. I'll do like a lot of rock blends with my stuff. So I'm like an artist as artist. Like you could throw a country beat in front of me and I'll still figure out something to do with it.
Okay, now
So,
what's genre for people who don't know that?
Genre is the type of music, like the type of music group. So rock, hip hop, alternative, country, techno, those are like considered like genres, pretty much.
Because sometimes some of your words we be sitting there saying, I don't know what he means by that. So that means basically you make music, you make beats, or you just do a variety of everything.
Pretty much like a variety of everything. I'm an artist as far as production. I'm an artist as far as performing on stage. I write for myself and others, of course, recording. But I'm also an audio engineer. I record, I mix, I master. I just like doing stuff. I really like just doing as many things as I could possibly get my hands into, pretty much.
So break down audio engineer. That's what you said. Break that down so people would know exactly what is that.
So an audio engineer is pretty much someone when let's say you're like, hey, I want to book a session to come into the studio and record something. So if you book a session, I'm the one that pretty much will record you. Okay. I'll get your levels. I'll make sure you sound good coming in. Then when you're done recording, I'll edit it. I'll cut out all the breathing and the pops or the clicks and the mistakes and make it to where the music sounds good for people to listen to. Okay. So it sounds like aesthetically pleasing to the ear.
So if I come in and I sing, you can manipulate. That's why you got all these people like Vanilla, whatever that couple was that didn't know how to sing. You do stuff like that. What's that?
Vanilla,
you know.
Milli Vanilli. Well, no, they pretty much just like lip sync their stuff. Oh, okay. They're just like lip syncing over someone else's lyrics for the most part. When they're on stage.
Stuff like that too.
No.
I'm just messing with you. Okay, yeah. So but if I come in there and I sing, and as you say, breathing. So within somebody recording a song, you can hear a lot of the breathing and things like that, and you can chop that out of there. Or?
Yeah, typically, like especially like when you're getting the raw of like what the music sounds like before anyone listens to it, there's a lot of mistakes. You can probably hear jackets. You can hear if a rapper has chains on.
Oh, wow.
You can hear you hear them clearing their throat before it goes out. We go and we cut all that stuff out so y'all don't hear it.
Okay.
You know? So that's what engineers really do. The final product that you hear on the radio is because of audio engineers. You know, and my prediction, based on the way the music industry is going, I feel like engineers are going to get more recognition for what they do because working with a good engineer can make or break your song. You know, and I will say the thing that's changed is quality is not such a big deal with the newer crowd because a lot of this stuff is out on SoundCloud. A lot of this stuff is it won't even be fully mastered, but it's something about it is also creative too because I'm an artsy person, so if it kind of adds to the aesthetic, I get it. You know, it just has to be tasteful. It can't just be just terrible, just distortion. No one can hear what you're saying.
So what got you to be an engineer? How did that happen?
When I was younger, we didn't have any studios. I grew up and I left DC around middle school. My parents did not want me going to Kramer. I used to go to Orr Elementary School on Minnesota Avenue, and it was wild out there. And they were like, we would feel better if you went to school out in PG County. And a lot of people actually migrated to PG County from DC. So I moved over to Clinton. And with no studios, with no place to go. So we had a friend with recording software on his laptop. And I really wanted that software when I went home. I was like, I have to go hang out with this dude every time I want to record. So my first paycheck ever I worked a job at Costco Park as like a boathouse person. I used to get boats and stuff at Costco Park. And my first paycheck, I went to him and I was like, bro, I'll give you my whole check if you just give me the computer with the program on it. So I gave him my whole check, and he gave me the computer. I overpaid for that computer, but the program he gave me, it was cracked.
You wanted the program.
Yeah, I wanted the program. It was a cracked program called Mixcraft, and I had the code and everything, and I would put it in. And then because I wanted me and my friends to record, I pretty much learned how to engineer. I learned how to like mix, how to master, how to do stuff like that. So yeah, so that's what led me to that. Yeah.
So to do the mixing and mastering and things of that nature, is there a science to that? Is that a class, or did you go to school to do that, or you just kind of willy-nilly it to a point where you could figure it out yourself?
So a lot of all of those things. So I first was doing it on my own, and then you would listen to. I like comparing and like you compare things to try to see where you're at. So I would listen to like, okay, this song, listen to my mix. And when you're doing stuff off of a laptop back in high school, it's never going to sound professional. So I just wanted it to sound clear. Then I got Pro Tools on a different laptop, and I was like, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. And then I actually went to audio engineering school at the school called Omega Studio for Recording Arts and Sciences in Rockville.
Okay.
And they
had a distance.
Yeah, big every man. I either drove there or I took the train there every 5 days a week. Traffic.
Luckily, the gas is not where it is now.
Man, it was insane. And but when I got there, I learned a lot about mixing and mastering and industry standard stuff. It was a really good opportunity, really good program. But once I started working here, if I'm being honest, and I started just working with clients every day and listening. So to be clear, WTS Recordings is the recording studio I work at. And once I first joined Create Lady J, who is the main owner of the recording studio, and I started taking clients here as an engineer and a producer, that's how I got good at it. I just really kept mixing, guys. Can you turn it up, turn it down? And I started again, but I had the equipment now. I had the stuff I needed. So now when I tried to compare and contrast the industry standard, it sounds like the stuff I listen to on my phone or on my computer or whatever.
So do you still have the first computer?
I had it, but I threw it away. It was, how you try to keep nostalgic stuff. It was a computer from like 2004. It just, there was nothing I can do with it, So I just tossed it.
So what do you like? I know about on most people who have iPhones and stuff. You have, what is it called? Garbage. What's it called?
Trash can.
No, not the trash can, but it's called Garage.
Oh, GarageBand.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I took the class and I made some music, and I was like, "Oh, suck it now! All I got to do is get the words to it." Yeah. So, how would you consider that to where you are? And I'm not belittling you on no level, but would that be something that somebody could start to maybe get to where you are?
Yeah, I think there's so much technology now, like even there's apps on the phone other than GarageBand also, I think I've heard of, where people are making beats. There's so many different ways to record yourself and make music and be creative with all this technology. You can just get started anywhere. And if you want to get serious, your sound's going to have to get better. So you'll just naturally follow that stream into Pro Tools, which in my opinion is the best DAW, which is digital audio workstation out there personally. Okay. All my stuff is done in Pro Tools. People will fight for other programs and stuff, but Pro Tools to me is the GOAT. So,
all right. So, and I keep on hovering because I just want to make sure that we understand all that you do. Mm-hmm. So, again, tell us all that you do. But can you, like, if you say the first thing, then can you break that down, and then the second thing, and break it down so that each and everybody will understand exactly? Because
okay,
I'm catching it, but maybe everybody else wouldn't catch it.
Got you. Also, shout out to Go Hard Mike Lee, who is tuned in. Shout out to him. Yeah, God talk. Yeah, but so pretty much, all right. That's the engineer aspect of it, right? For me as an audio engineer. So now we could come into me as being a rapper. Rapping started out around I want to say middle school, 7th grade. I used to always like poetry and stuff. I was always into words. I was always into creative writing. I was really good at creative writing stories and stuff and poems and stuff. And then 8 Mile came out. And I just remember the battle scenes. And for some reason, it was something about the competitive nature of fighting with words. I was like, man, that's really dope. And I started doing it. And I was pretty decent at it to the point to where like, oh man, people are, acknowledging you now. Girls are like talking to you now. People are like, yo, man, you're good at it. So you're like, oh man, I'm actually good at this thing. So I really fell into rap. Also, I'll say when I first started, I was not very good. I was not the best. I wasn't killing it, but I kept doing it. I just
Mhm.
like to do it. And when you
Right.
enjoy doing something and the more you do it, you naturally are going to get better at it. That's
Right,
that's
right,
just that's
right.
just how it works. So for me, I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. Next thing I know, I would say top of my class as far as like
Oh,
freestyling,
okay.
rapping in high
All right.
school. When I went to college, I went to Morgan State.
Okay.
Morgan State is a really good school. It's in Baltimore. It's 4 year. It was not a great fit for where I was mentally at the time for me because I wanted to be a full time artist and I did not see my path. And I didn't understand the connection. I was like, I don't want to be here.
Right.
So after about 6 months, I chose to leave. And I left Morgan State after about 6 months and I got a job and I was just trying to figure things out in this
Right,
area
right,
because
right.
music in this area is not it's not very like, oh yeah, you go perform all the time, you're gonna get a deal or whatever.
Mhm.
I was trying to figure things out. So after that, I ended up just doing shows. I was doing every open mic. I was doing showcases. I was traveling to different places to do.
Okay.
I was really just trying to figure out what situation could I get into to where I make this a real
Right.
thing where I'm making
Right,
money,
right,
but
right.
I still had to work full-time jobs.
Of course.
But over that time, I started my first, I'm gonna call it a first attempt at a label. It was a sole proprietorship and it was called Sporadics ENT. Sporadics ENT. It was I like so it comes from the word sporadic, which is like kind of like random, just like
Mhm.
that's because that's how my creativity is.
Right, right.
So it's named based on my creativity. And let's just say I wasn't at the age to where I knew how to actually really run a business the right way.
Right.
I would
Trial
say
and
the people
error.
around me, we had so much going on. We were young and it was so much going on. No one could really focus.
Mhm.
And it eventually kind of just dissolved itself. I couldn't do anything with it. And for a while, I was just out here performing. I remember I moved to Baltimore for a while to try the music scene out
Okay.
there because I heard it's a lot more eclectic. So I went to Baltimore, tried the music scene out there, and next thing I know, I think I had gotten to a point where I was gonna quit. I was like, man, it's not really working out the way I really wanted it to. And I had just started making beats at the time, which goes into me being a producer, which I'll go into the production part later.
Okay.
But as I'm out there, I remember I had no money. I had saved up. I had saved up a bunch of money so I didn't have to work, so I could
Right,
focus on
right,
music.
right, right.
Months go by, nothing's popping off. So people kept telling me about this song. I don't know if you remember. This happened maybe 2015. It
Okay.
was this competition called Jacking for Beats. And they was like, man, you should compete. And I'm like, I don't like competitions. They rigged. They all fixed. I didn't want to do it. And I was very down. I didn't want to do it. So people who don't even know
Negative.
each other kept saying like you should do it. And
Okay.
I was like, I don't think I should. But you know how you kind of like you get the voice in your head saying you should probably listen.
Yes, yes.
So I remember one day they were in Clinton, Maryland. 'Cause I was visiting my parents one weekend, and they were in Clinton the same time I was in Clinton. And I was on Twitter, and they was like, "Yo, we got the audition bus. We about to leave out of here in half an hour. We gonna leave. So if anybody want to audition, we about to roll out." And I remember I was about to take a nap, and I was like, "Man, I'll whatever. I'm gonna give it a shot." So I went to give it a shot, and I actually made like the final 50.
Get out.
Yeah, I made the final. It was like 1,000 people that like competed, and I made like the final 50. And I didn't take
Wow.
it seriously. I was shocked. I still have that footage too. Funny. That's when I
See, you
saved.
should have.
But I didn't know I was gonna tell the story. So I had the bush and everything. So
Oh
yeah, I
man.
had like the bush. Yo,
Oh my
it's
goodness.
I'll show you
All
later. But
right.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so I did that, and then we had to get votes. I hate getting votes. I don't like the voting thing because even if you're the best, it doesn't matter. It's about the people. So they allowed you though. They said you are allowed to vote for yourself every day.
Okay.
So I said, you know what?
Vote for
Because I was like,
myself.
I really want to win this because the prize was $5,000, and
Oh
I had
yeah.
nothing. So I was like, let's do this. So I would go to different Best Buys every day, and I would go to every single phone. I would type in the link to my website, and I would vote for myself on every single device.
Oh my
And
goodness. No, you
I would go
didn't.
to an Apple store and do. I was
You were
serious.
serious, yeah.
I was serious. And then so after I went to the Apple store and started like I did this every single day. And then when it came out, all the list came out. I think I was number like 7. I was like, I had just barely like made the final 10 people.
Wow.
So they were like, all right. And that's when I started taking it like, I can actually win this. I only got to beat 9.
Did you win?
So I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
I was like, I only got to beat 9 people. So after that, so the night, and this night is on YouTube. It's on YouTube too. The night in question, and they set up in that building in DC called Art Wino. Have you been to Art Wino?
No, I have not.
Oh, Art Wino is like a super artsy. It's like I think it's an old church or something, but it's like a performance venue now. It's super artsy. So I went to Art Wino and we had the event that night. And Jadakiss was a judge.
Oh,
He's
cool.
one of the judges there, and I won the competition. So I won that comp. And also in that same night, that's the same night I met Create Lady J and Cam
Okay.
3, who I run the business, the studio with now, and have a label with now. They're also in a rap group I'm in.
Okay.
I met them that same night.
Wow. Now,
The
can you
same
give us a
night.
rap
All right.
on the Come on. I don't know about
I
the
don't,
beat.
I don't know
not
about the
good
beat.
at
I mean, you.
Yeah, come on.
So that's not how it works. I can't. If it's one of two things, it's either gonna be the acapella or it has to be a real beat because I got to be able to.
Okay, so let's do acapella. Okay, because you ain't got to have a sound with that.
Acapella, like you want like what? It's like 16.
Just do whatever. I'll take it.
Just okay. So I have one of my favorites. I do is you ain't get the context yet. Flow was about to go Project X, put me on complex to DC radio. Tribe Called Quest, how I bring a scenario. They be like, there you go, everybody sees him. Goddamn genius, all my friends are heathens. Ain't in my league, OG is prestigious. I'm a star boy like my name was The Weeknd. On stage screaming, breaking my shackles. Y'all silent like the P and Pterodactyl. Rocking the stage shows, how I make pesos. Sold out, got a full house. John Stamos, rap game Thanos, lyrically known. Rocks in my watch looking like Infinity Stones. Say my name like Timmy, counting every penny. Every day, known killing beats like Kenny. And so stuff. That's just kind of my style.
Now, just hearing you, I didn't even hear you breathe. I would be like, I'd be trying to, get the air. By sitting here listening, I heard every word, but did you breathe?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
but so
it's a way because I know I can't.
I called it third lung training. It's like having the third lung. It's like you run on treadmills or you recite your lyrics and you get used to the breath. So here's the thing. It doesn't sound like I'm breathing, but I'm breathing while I'm rapping. So as I'm saying the word, I'm exhaling. And in between the breaths, I'm inhaling. And plus I've done that verse so much. It's
norm to
it's like muscle memory to me now. It's like doing a push-up,
Yeah, because I noticed that when I watch like and give me a minute to try to remember what his name is. But the guy that used to name Janet Jackson,
Jermaine Dupri,
he has a show, and sometimes he has young people, and I'm like, but then you don't understand what they're saying, and then you hear the breathing, and then some of them are like, they're not as great, but you could understand what they say, and they're breathing normal. So. Yeah, so I'm assuming now when I hear what you said, you have to work out, you have to exercise, you have to be very, I guess, in tune and in shape in a way.
Only from a breath control standpoint, like because Big Pun was like 400 pounds and he had impeccable breath control. Then in the middle, with little widdly, little did we know we were riddled to middlemen who didn't do diddly. Like he would do stuff like that without any problem, Big Pun. So yeah, you can be, as long as your breath control is straight. Yeah.
And then I like don't laugh, I'm trying to remember his name too. He has dreads, older dude. And you just remind me because I got to see him a few times face to face. He just shaved, he just cut all his hair off. Oh God!
Are you talking about Buster?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. What's the song that he's kind of just sounds just like that? It's like he's saying.
Look at me now. He does that. He does.
I don't know the name.
He does that.
I know the words.
Every time I got to do it, when I got to get it, when I got to. Yeah, that's look at me now.
Oh my goodness, that'd be like I just want to mess him up, like boo, so he can mess up. That's amazing to be able to cultivate yourself. And to be able, as you say, to do the breathing. So the one, because I've seen the battles. Some of them, I'm like, what the hell did he just say?
the battles?
Yeah, they still have battles or whatever. I may not be calling it the correct name, but I still see them in different places where one person is saying all he has to say, and then he stops them. Just like with what's the guy that was married to I know I keep on doing this. The singer, Trivia. The light-skinned singer. He has the Wild 'N Out. It's
Nick Cannon.
Joning and joking. And,
oh wow, oh yeah, wow, yeah, that's Nick Cannon.
Yeah, Nick Cannon. I can't remember everybody's name. I'm sorry,
shout
but
out to Nick Cannon.
yeah, I love him. But even when he does that, like I listen to them, and that's amazing to be able to one Joan. I can Joan, but Lord, I mean, just Joan in the matter of seconds in or create what you just did in matter of seconds, like where it comes, or you saw this and this and that and that, and I'm like, man, so it's something in what you do too as well.
Well, so that was the thing too. A part of that is freestyling off the top of the head. So freestyling is probably my favorite form of creative expression. Has nothing to do with selling records, nothing to do with songs like, oh, you got a chart and an agenda. It's really just on the spot. What you got? What can you come up with right now? Especially to a beat. And that's how we grew up. We would grow up freestyling in the cypher, coming up with stuff on the spot, having like who can say something to get the biggest reaction, you know. And then so for me, when I did the competition, I actually did freestyle everything, you know, off the top of the head. To this day, that's just something I enjoy doing. That's always something I'm going to do probably for a while.
There, I'll give you that.
And sometimes that's easier than writing. You know, because and it doesn't even have to necessarily be good, as long as you're having fun, because the audience, just like anything else, they go off your vibe. So if I'm freestyling and I'm having a great time, the audience is going to have a great time because they feel that vibe, even if it's not that good of a freestyle. As long as we're connecting, I got the crowd. But on the flip side, I've also walked into rooms where guys who come in with people they came in with, like it'll be no one knows me, but when I get on stage, whatever it is, it's like we're right here. I'm creating based on like I have your attention, and you kind of lock in with the crowd.
So can you stand in front of a crowd and freestyle what you see in that crowd?
That's how I won the competition.
So you
that's like
on people like
no. It's like all right. So there's another video. I keep saying all these videos on YouTube. There's a video on YouTube that I have where I'm at PGC, because I went to PGCC community colleges. I went to almost every type of college you can think of: online, 4-year, community, trade school. I've done every type of college experience. And when I was at PGCC, they had this talent show. Now, and this is the first time I've ever done it live. And I went in front of like this whole auditorium, and I went around. People picked up items, and I freestyled about every single item in the room. So, and here's I'm gonna give a secret about, and everyone who really freestyles knows this. That's technically, it makes it easier because you're giving us something to focus on. And if you're good at rhyming words, it makes it a lot easier. Because if you're like, yo, freestyle right now, I gotta come up with stuff. But if you start pointing at stuff, I'm be like, I gotta rhyme exotic pop. Oh, I have to rhyme KRK. I have to rhyme. I have something to focus on.
That's gonna be your next test.
So I'll do it. I mean, it's actually easier if you give the rapper, any freestyler, like if you point at something and like, okay, freestyle about this, instead of saying make up something right now. That's actually harder.
Okay. Yeah. Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, but it's a sport though, man. I admire anyone who's like really good at that. I have to like cipher with them. I have to step into, so ciphering is when like, you know, you all come together and you trade. It's like sparring. It's not even really battling. You just exchanging verses, and then that's my favorite form of like competitive like freestyling. You know, so.
Oh wow! Yeah, see, now I'm sitting here and I'm learning. So you went to a whole lot of colleges and online. Do you feel like that made you better, or it just made you know that this is not where you are trying to go?
So when I was doing schooling online, I didn't like online schools at all. I didn't really want to do school. I was just so into the music. I just didn't really care for it. But my journey taught me that I'm more of an experienced person, and based on where you need to be, education is vital. So if I wanted to be a lawyer, college would definitely be a part of my repertoire because it's something I need in my journey to get where I want to go. I just got to the reality, and the people I was meeting, people who were mentoring me at the time, heroes. I would read biographies. I was looking at people, and going to college and getting a degree that had nothing to do with where I personally was going. I didn't see the value of it. But this is just for me. It's not for anybody else. So, but I did have great experiences. I made really good connections. I still have to this day. Oh, I got a lot. Even the competition I did where I was freestyling in the auditorium, it was at PGCC. I was in charge of a radio program there, which really taught me a lot about show structure. So there were definitely benefits I didn't even plan on getting. So I really just think it depends on where you are on your journey. To be honest, I did need that at the time. When I went to PG, I actually did finish there. I didn't finish at Morgan, but I finished at PG because based on where I was in my journey, it was a better fit for me.
Right.
I felt like this is where I need to be. I'm learning the things, and I had great teachers. I learned a lot about TV production and music and radio, which was more along the line of the things I wanted to do. In the way and the people I had around me made it a much more fulfilling experience than my previous one.
Okay.
So
now I know I've cut you off, so we're gonna
no,
go
you're
back
good.
to where you stopped at when you was telling us about the different levels. Okay.
Different levels. Oh wait.
When I told you to break down.
So now producing. So that's more so the rap journey. So producing. So I didn't used to make beats. My beats, I did make beats around 2013. If anybody has had any of my beats before 2020, they probably weren't that good. I was trying to figure out like where I was, and I was really into drums. Big Crit, I think when Big Crit came out, and I heard the way he used drums, he don't get a lot of credit as a producer, but Big Crit is the one that really made me step out and say, you know what, I can do this. I can produce. Because he made music that sounded like it was for him. Okay. He made music that was really tailored to his story, his sound, and he had full control of everything he put into his music, and it sounded like where he was from. And I was like, man, that's really dope as far as that art form. So him, Dr. Dre, The Chronic 2001 was the first CD I heard where the beats were the thing that drew me to it, and not the lyrics. It wasn't the rappers. It wasn't the rappers rapping, and it was actually the music on The Chronic 2001 that really had me thinking, man, I want to make beats. So,
yeah. I don't even know who just did that, but okay. Oh my
God. So 2013, I started. I was trying to sell beats out the studio here, and I remember, man, I would try to sell it to rappers, and they'd be like, it's not my style. It's not what I like. It's not my thing. And I just no. So a few of my clients, luckily you have eccentric clients that like different things. Mm-hmm. And a few people start like $50, $60. They would, here and there, they would give you $50, $60. Something. And so I would learn things. I would ask questions. I would go on YouTube. I was just trying to pull in as much as possible. My bread and butter, and I'm going to admit this on air, my bread and butter came from when some artists would say, hey, I don't want to buy this beat from YouTube. Can you kind of remake it? And I was really, really good at replicating. Okay. But I would do it in a way to where it had the feel of it, but I would change the key of it, and I would slightly change the tempo so it was not identical. Gotcha. Okay. So that way it would be no copyright issues. It was just a feel that I was going for. And people start paying, I started making a lot of money remaking beats that they didn't, because the whole YouTube thing is, if you want to use a YouTube beat and you can't get in contact with the person and you put it up, they can have you take your song down. You can have your song on streaming services, and then 2 months later you'll get a cease and desist, and they'll take your song off of streaming services. If you don't clear it.
Just because So I heard what you said. I know this is going to sound like I'm repeating, but when you say that you cut and paste and switched and moved, how different did that sound so that somebody can say, but that sounds so much like mine?
I changed the key of it and slightly changed the tempo, but the feel that they wanted from the record. So if the feel was aggressive, I'll give you an example. Let's say they wanted something that sounded like, what's the song that you like right now? Do you listen to any modern day hip hop right now? Because I wanted to be in context.
I don't know whether I know the difference between them, but how about the Stallion?
Meg the Stallion.
That's the one.
That's a great example, actually.
The song. Hold on, make sure we say the correct song I want now.
I'm a B Savage.
I'm a savage.
Okay. Let's say
bougie,
ratchet. Okay,
and I'm not ratchet.
Got you. Let's say they want a Meg the Stallion type beat, and they want it to sound like Savage. So I would listen to it and think, okay, what do they like about this song? And they may like it because it's something to dance to. It's very chill. The beat is very dun dun dun. It uses kind of like pads. It's like very bright sounds. It's not aggressive. It's not hype. It got some cool bass, and it got some cool sounds in it. So that's how I go, Mike. And they want the mood to be laid back, but they want to be able to move to it, and kind of like some barbecue, like you go barbecue pool party type music. So I started going through my sounds. Like, okay, what's something that sounds not too harsh on the ear, something that's real smooth, but also has light. You choose a synth, you choose a pad, you listen to the drums and say it kind of got a bounce to it, but I can't make it like this one on YouTube.
Exactly.
So let me
let me
change the tempo, but not too much, so it's still what they want. And that's from a technical standpoint how I would do it, so it wouldn't get people in trouble.
Gotcha.
So, but once I started doing that, that's when I started coming into my own, and then I started feeling just creatively, it's not good. When you're a creator, you want to make original stuff, and I kept, even though I was making money, I got tired of getting paid to make beats that sound like this. But if I'm being honest, the truth of it was I didn't have the skill as a producer just to make the beats I wanted to make the people what people were buying.
Right.
So I wanted around 2020. I started to get into that zone, started to find my sound, started messing with samples. I started doing more. And next thing I know, people were buying my beats that I made where I wasn't trying to sound like anyone else. And they started selling. And then I started producing tracks for my own album. I produced my entire first solo album, which is called All or Nothing. All or Nothing is on every streaming platform. If anybody wants to check that out, it's Osiris Green, All or Nothing. I produced all of that project. I produced some projects on my group, Wreck the System. Wreck the System is also on all streaming platforms. You'll see the production credits. I produced maybe 5 or 6 songs for us. So it also goes into my own work as well. You know, I have a project with Go Hard Mike Lee. We have a project called God Talk together. And me and my bandmate Cam 3, we produced that entire project together. Maybe one song was produced by a different producer, but that's like my journey as a producer. You know, so you see like how the producer, rap, and engineer kind of concurrently run. They run together. You know, there's moments where they kind of join, and there's other moments where they kind of split up in life. But for the most part, each different, I want to say, hat I was wearing was a part of what I was doing every step of the way. You know, but I still got to work on producing. I gotta get better. So I'm dope, but I'm trying to become elite. You know, so.
All right, so let's just say I'm writing a book.
Okay.
And I know within some of the wording, I would like to take that and put that into a song. Or let's just say you see my book or whatever, you may read it. And you be like, oh, some of this would be a good song. How would you take my book and turn it into a song or songs?
How would take? Okay, that would actually be a dope creative challenge. It's kind of like a movie in a way. It's no different than doing a movie soundtrack. So what I would do is first I would read the entire book. Or wait, is audiobook an option? Is audio?
You gotta read it, Donnie.
Okay, so I would read it, but as I'm reading it, I would summarize each chapter. Like if I finished chapter 1, I would be like, let's say I would write origin story, humble beginnings, tragedy, preparing for the next step. That would be my notes, depending on the kind of book. Chapter 2, development further along. I would just and then I would go to the music, and I would probably make a soundtrack at this point, no longer than 14 songs, and I would just compact all of that into it was like a book. But if your book is let's say it's 20 chapters, I would just make those 20 chapters 14 songs. So those songs would flow with the flow of the book, and it would be chronological to kind of go with the story. So I wouldn't make the third song be about the final chapter. I would make the album run through the way it would be.
So that's something that you can do too as well. Or you have never done anything.
I've never done anything like that with a book. That's very interesting. But I think
I'll be thinking of some things.
I've done stuff like that with like anime. I make a lot of I had a project, me and a producer named Fremont Radio. We just did where we took a bunch of anime beats, shonen anime beats. Shonen, so to be specific.
We don't know what that is. I'm looking at. I thought you were saying animation. I was like, okay, scratch my head on that.
Anime is pretty much Japanese animation.
Okay.
And it's far superior than any other animation in the world from a story and animation standpoint. It's the best form of animation ever. Is in Japan.
You have on your laptop.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what that was. Cowboy Bebop, right? So I've done songs attributing, like if I like a show like Dragon Ball Z, I've done a song motivated or sampled it, and I'm not rapping like I'm in the story, but I take elements from that song. And it's kind of like if you make a song about money, it's kind of similar. Or how rappers will rap a song about shoes, like Air Force Ones, right? But it's not about Air Force Ones like the one Nelly did. Mine would be about an anime or a video game, but it's a similar type feel to it, you know. But I've never done it with a book before. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I might have to hook you up on that. Okay,
Mm.
so tell us something that, like you said earlier, you almost gave up. So
Yeah.
give us something else that now you're doing well, but you really wasn't where you feel like you should have been.
Yeah, like when you give up a certain lifestyle, because I was an AV tech at Georgetown Hotel and Conference Center, and I was making really good money at the time. And I remember thinking, I was like, okay, I'm about to get a place, I'm about to get this. Now I stopped, and I was like, well, if I do this, I'm freeing up all this capital that I have that I really want to put into my art and my music. And I actively and by choice made a sacrifice to stay at home, to save that money so I can really pursue my journey, to stay with friends. I really just I put everything into my dream and my art. And when you do that, and when time goes by and things are like bills are piling up, and like I'm doing shows every week. I'm going out every day to these open mics and these showcases in my own city. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going out of town. I'm getting some followers. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm posting every day. This is before I got really good at understanding social media. I didn't understand it as a 22, 23, 25-year-old even. But I'm trying all these things and nothing is working. So you start to even wonder, like, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Maybe I'm making a mistake, because it's not like I'm slacking off or I'm out here wasting time or just being lazy and playing video game. I'm actually out here working.
Right.
And when things weren't working out for me, I was like, well, maybe this isn't what I'm meant to do. And I dwell in harsh realities, and it was hard to accept. But I was telling myself, if I have to stop pursuing my dream and just get some money, I can't live. I can't live like this. You get tired of living a certain way. And I think I heard a line from a movie. Somebody was like, a man can only take but so much disappointment. And you just say, you know what? If this ain't it, I accept it, man. I just want to do well.
Right.
At this point, I don't want to have to worry. I just want to do well. And that's where I was at that time. And I was really just ready to just say, if I don't win this competition, I'm going to just do something else. I was going to do, and I actually did end up getting into martial arts actually, but I was going to just do martial arts and just teach it. That was pretty much my plan. I was like, I'm gonna just teach martial arts and teach yoga or something. And because
You said yoga.
Yeah, I was, because
Are you good at yoga?
Yeah, I got really good. I did hot yoga. I did martial arts and stuff. I did all that stuff even afterwards. But that was going to be my center. But when I won and it's funny because I did pray about it. When I won the competition, before I went that night, I remember thinking to myself, this might be my last night on stage because I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. So I was like, God, if I don't win this, it's cool. I understand. Like this was not what I was supposed to do, and I prayed and I was like, but I did say, I was like, I accept whatever happens. And when I won, I took that as a sign, like, nah, bro, you on the right track. It's just not, you just gonna go through it. So, and I just say that to say, if anybody has something that they really, really want to do, and this is not, I'm not going to say a fairy tale, like no matter what you can achieve. I'm gonna be honest, dog. You can fail, and it's very easy to fail. It is super easy to just fail and just kind of walk away from what you want to do, and to get to a point to where if it's not giving you what you need, you have to leave it alone for a while. But that's if it's for money, because no matter what, I think I'm always going to create. And at some point, when those two realities converge, that you may not get what you want, but you still do it all the time, you still may end up happy.
Right.
I know artists out here. I've done a lot, by the way. It's a lot of work. I've done a lot. So I work part-time at 930 Club as well.
Okay, I know that.
930 Club has acts that tour I've never heard of in my life. And they're selling out events at this club. And I'm like looking at the schedules, and they sell out tours all over the country. Acts you've never heard of. I promise you've never heard of these people. But I started to see a pattern, like, yo, there are musicians out here who make a career, and they maybe make 60, 70, maybe 80,000 a year off of music, but they're still making a living off of music, and they're making a living off of music. So it really comes to a point to where even if it's not what you think it may be, if you love to do it, just do it. There is no level of making it. There is no, I know how things are perceived, but as I've gotten older, I've understood this. When you have a solid fan base that supports you, you understand who your people are and your demographic. You don't have to make something that everyone likes.
Right.
You don't have to be like, oh, I gotta make a hit. I gotta make the one. Just make what you want to make and find your people that
Yeah,
that
don't
will
like it.
support you.
Exactly.
And that way you're authentic and you're giving people something of value. Because if you're giving what
I
they
agree
already
100%
have,
with
it's
that.
not valuable. So for me as an example, because I ain't rich out here by any means, but I do shows all the time. I get paid for my music. I get paid for my creativity, and I'm out here and I'm able to live that. But I'm going to tell you, it's not always easy. But some people it is. And that's the other harsh reality. Some people can start rapping for a year and make a hit, and they on, and you gotta be, and you have
And
to
then you
be
don't
okay
hear
with
from
that.
them no more.
That, or you, or
Like the can of soup was soup, the soup.
or I don't know. It's like, and you have to, but you have to be okay with that too. Because I also learn hating on people don't do you no good.
Right.
There's rappers I'm not like, I don't really think that they're good, but I don't hate. They're like, what you think of so and so? I'll be like, hey man, he could feed his family. It's like I don't care. Yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, it's like yo, man. If it's an artist who I don't think is very talented, but they have an ability to feed their kids, it's like I'm not mad at that, you know. And as an artist, if you're frustrated that things are not working out for you, you have to just kind of figure it out, you know. And if you're in it for money, and if you are in it honestly just for money, and you're not interested in making an impact, and you're not interested in the creativity, if you're not interested in those things, that's cool. Then follow the program, make songs that's gonna get you paid. But you have to understand your why, the reason why you do things, and the intent behind why you do things is very important. And that makes all the difference in the results that you're going to get, because that's going to make a difference in the kind of energy you're going to expel when you're doing these things that you're going to do day to day, you know.
So if
yeah.
you could tell yourself where you are now, a younger age, what would be the negative and the positive that you would tell yourself?
The positive, as far as positives, I would tell myself, you're working really hard, and I'm very proud of your focus, your drive, and your determination. If I were to say something negative to myself, it's like, it's like, man, I was doing a lot of good stuff. Oh, if I could tell myself, like, bro, stop dating for a while. Just stop. Just completely.
Now I gotta ask, why would you say that? Because that takes a whole lot of extra.
It takes time. It takes energy, and you're just, you know, you're normal. You're living life. You're going places. You're meeting people, and that's no shade to anyone I've dated in the past, man. It's like it's not that anything was necessarily wrong with that person. I just feel like I would have put that much more time into to what I was doing. And I was putting a lot of time, but the time where me and you went to Ocean City, I probably would erase it. You know, or the time me and this person went to, like, we spent like some time, like a whole day out hanging out, hiking, and doing something for a whole 24 hours. I could have been working on a project.
Right.
And it's nothing. And I did enjoy those experiences. So, but if you were to say advice I would tell me back then, it's like, bro, spend less time doing that.
Sometimes you have to do that to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, spend less time. And
some women don't understand that. If you're on that, especially anything dealing with entertainment, you have somebody else. Oh my God, I got to just take a. I did shoot some of these women sometimes the way they be. I'm like, all you gotta do is go, and I don't mean shoot, but you know, I couldn't think of anything else at the top. But I got a lot of friends who are in the music, and I was like, why don't you just go and see what he's doing? You so worried, and he's sitting there working on music. He ain't answer the phone. No, he can't answer the phone because he's in that mind frame.
It's a vibe, yeah.
Oh, I just sometimes just want to hit him.
Well, and sometimes that can be a disconnect. You know, they may not like the things you talk about. If you have music and you want women to dance to it or shake something to it, and you're making music that make women want to twerk or whatever, your girl might not like the things that's coming out your mouth as an entertainer, but you know what the point of you making that song is. So you kind of have to. My biggest thing to artists, especially young artists with girlfriends, not even wives, you gonna have to just be like, hey, establish out front who you are from the very beginning. As soon as the first time y'all meet, be like, this is what I do, this is what I work on, and this is where I'm not bending. And you can set as relationships grow and progress, healthy boundaries, being flexible, making you make a couple of whatever here and there. Like, all right, I won't have a bunch of strippers in my video, but I'm still gonna make songs about strippers. And it's like, fine. So you kind of have to have some give and take if it's a serious relationship. But from the moment they enter your life, they have to understand who you are, what you do, and you can't just change just because somebody new comes into your life
Right.
and they want you to.
Exactly.
You know, because the whole reason they liked you was because of who you are.
Right.
They,
At
you
least
know,
you think
they
they
saw
did.
you on stage. You know,
They know
so
you may have a
and
little.
yeah, so it's just establishing those healthy boundaries. It's like, because if you meet a woman, if she's a model or Sports Illustrated model, she gonna be in centerfolds. You go and you
Hardly
got
with nothing on.
you got and you got to be. But when
Okay
you
with
but
that.
you if you meet her and she tell you who she is up front, you got to be okay. It works both ways. You got to be okay with that, bruh. You can't be like, well, you can quit your job now. Like, nah, she love what she do. She don't got to quit what she do. So you know, it's a lot. It's just a lot of give and take.
So where do you see
Yeah.
yourself hopefully in the next 5 years? Where would you like to be?
In the next
In
5
the
years.
dream of dreams of dreams.
All right. So in the next 5 years, I have a company outside of Rec the System LLC, which is called Flow State Art and Media. That's my own independent LLC. It's an entertainment company. It's a media company. We also dwell in education, giving back to the community. I really want that to be self-sufficient. I want to have a staff of people, other people running the business, and I just, of course, do the CEO thing. Will I approve or deny and just guide? I want Rec the System to have established. I want to say usually like maybe half a year tour schedule to where we're touring for half the year, or maybe 4 months out of the year. I always want to create with Rec the System. Shout out to Camfrey and Create Lady J. For myself, I want to make sure that I'm producing. I'm really getting into film. I shot my first film last year. It's called Masters of Key. I wrote the film. I starred in it. Pretty much helping out with the editing, the scoring, and stuff. I just like doing creative stuff. I just like doing
And
like.
you haven't talked to
yeah.
Gorgeous because you know he has a movie or he's working on a movie.
Yeah, now I think when I was in LA last year, he was telling me he had people out there.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I didn't
Gotta
have
reach
the
out.
opportunity
You gotta
to
Network,
maneuver.
even if it's not, even if you don't. I try to tell people,
So,
even if you're not always getting paid, even if you work side by side, you may just like me sitting here. I thought I knew a lot, but I learned a lot from you just sitting here.
Oh, thank you.
So I try to tell everybody, I know it's about money. I get it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times if you stand beside somebody else that's already here and you're still here, you can learn maybe one thing to be like, okay, now this is what I was doing, but by me being with that person, let me stop doing what I was doing here to concentrate a little bit more what I learned from there, but just add it to what I'm doing. So yeah, I've been trying to get on people about that.
Yeah, but that's it's so much. It's so much that I just want to do. I'll say this: I just want to monetize and be wealthy based on the art and structures that I create. I want to be able to make sure that I can invest in my community as well and give back to the people that support me. Because giving back has always been a very big thing. The studio has done programs with Martha's Table. We had food drives. We had coat drives. We've done stuff where we give discounts in exchange for you giving, donating stuff. So I just want to make sure that those things continue. Yo, it's very important, man, because I've been here my entire life in the DMV area, and I know it's people out here that need stuff, and people are and very much like they support you still. People, anyone who's ever came to the recording studio, rappers who come out here, people just want to learn. People don't have opportunities. And something as small as, we got coats for people who are cold, or we got a job program for kids who need bread over the, like the Marion Berry programs I used to have.
Yeah, all his programs were good.
So I want my creativity to be able to fund and monetize stuff like that. I want to be able to make money from the things I create so I can give back. Because when working, it hits different when you making money how you want and when you making money from just working because you need money. It hits completely different. So for me, I really want to just have established a level of wealth and control to where it's comfortable. Because we're still in that point where we're still building.
Right.
We're moving a lot. Like we're making a lot of moves. We have a lot of shows and we're just on the move. But I really want to get to a stable point where it's like, I know what the next 6 months are going to look like before they get there. So in the next 5 years, I want to know what my next 6 months is going to look like ahead of time. And I can project how much the businesses are going to make and what we're going to do to give back. And that's all based on what comes out of here,
Well, tell us again, because I know we kind of jumped around. So tell us all your businesses.
It's a lot.
Well, tell them, and then make sure you give telephone numbers and all of that.
Yeah, Rec the System Recordings, LLC. That's pretty much the company. We're a label, and we have a recording studio called WTS Recordings. Flow State Art and Media. That's my personal business. It's a again, an arts and media company. We dwell in education, giving back, and creativity as well. Shows and everything like that. And those are pretty much the main businesses that I have.
And how can people get in contact with you?
IG is the best way. That's where I put up a lot of my content. It's the easiest way to reach me. Osiris Green. Osiris Music is the at, and MUZIK is how I spell music. So Osiris Music, but Osiris Green. Even if you just Google Osiris Green Wreck the System, everything comes up.
Oh, okay.
If you go on IG and you just type in Wreck the System, I come up. You can type in Osiris Green, I come up. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you. It's Late Night Whispers on this gorgeous radio, and I'm Sunshine. If you're into music or if you have a business or whatever the case may be, you can reach me at 202-510-2199 or just reach out to It's Gorgeous Radio. Again, it's Late Night Whispers on It's Gorgeous Radio. I'm Sunshine. Love, peace, and hair grease. Mwah.
Yeah. Shit.
And you did good, even though you didn't tell me about when you was a baby. But I let that slide. Oh, oops.